Well, hello, what's going on, guys? This is Malcolm, and you are on Malcolm Talks. Thanks for visiting the channel. Now, today I want to start off by telling you just a short story. A short story about how I ran the Olympic torch during the 1996 Olympics. It was an awesome honor. It was an amazing privilege. But it also ended up being one of the worst days of my life. Let me explain what I mean by that. I was in 12th grade in 1996, and I was doing a whole lot of volunteer work with my parents, with my granddad. My granddad actually owned a barber college here in Atlanta. He's been owning a barber college here in Atlanta for about 50 years. So he taught me how to cut hair. So he would take me around to a lot of the homeless shelters, a lot of the children's homeless shelters as well, and I would cut their hair. We would go in there on a weekend and cut their hair. Man, you would be surprised at how much of a difference a haircut can make for a person. It's unbelievable. I mean, some of these guys, their hair was just totally, they needed a haircut really bad. The kids even, they're walking around, they have to go to school, their hair is all unruly and not by their own doing. They just can't afford a haircut. So we would go in there, we'd cut their hair. Just a really humbling experience, and I used to do that every weekend. So I come from a background of people that are very helpful in the community. They volunteer a lot, although I'm not volunteering as much as I should right now. Whole point is, that's why I was chosen to be a torchbearer for the 1996 Olympics, because of my volunteer work, my community service. I actually received the Community Service Award in Atlanta in 1996. It was a really big deal at the time. So my name was put into a hat of some sort, and I was actually picked to be the 1996 Olympic torchbearer. Huge honor. There were, video news cameras at my school, at my high school, in the classroom with me, filming me. So I'm in there trying to act like I'm taking notes and trying to look studious, because, I really didn't do too well in high school, to be completely honest with you. I mean, I graduated, but definitely wasn't a straight A student or a straight B student for that matter. But I'm on camera, so I got to look my best. I'm in there taking notes, looking up at the teacher like, yep, okay. Ma'am, excuse me, I have a question. That wasn't me ordinarily, but hey, the cameras were on me, so I had to make sure I was on point. Kids are looking around at me like, who is this guy? What's going on with him? Oh, he's running the torch? Oh, cool, that's pretty cool. So this was really a big deal. But my mind wasn't all the way there, because right around that time I had also been cut from the varsity basketball team at my high school. The coach said, you know what, we got enough players, bro, you're just not good enough. We don't need you, but thanks for trying out. So these are all of the things that were taking place during that time. Okay, so I'm excited that I got chosen to be a torchbearer, but I'm sort of like, whatever. I mean, it's pretty cool, but I got a lot of other stuff on my mind. So let me go ahead and fast forward to the actual day of when I actually ran the torch, because that's where things started to get kind of crazy for me. They put us all on this van, and then they drove us around the different areas where we were going to have to run the torch, and they were dropping people off at their designated location, right? I was supposed to run the route in between the AU Center, which is basically near Clark Atlanta University. Cool. So of course my family, my parents, they told all our family all over the country. Had people coming in from New York, from Savannah, from all over the country basically. Family I didn't even know I had, because they wanted to see me run the torch. This is a big deal. I mean, this was going to go in the history books. People had signs and posters, way to go Malcolm, Malcolm Davey, Olympic torchbearer, this is so awesome, whatever. So it was a really big deal. So, I'm on this van, and then we go, there's a lot of people on the van too, other torchbearers. One person, I think she was one of the big news anchors here in Atlanta, and I can't remember her name right now. It was somebody else who was like an ex-NFL player. A few other people. So I'm on the van with a lot of heavy hitters, okay, in Atlanta, and I was chosen as one of the torchbearers. It was huge, and you remember that was the same Olympics where Muhammad Ali was the one who was the last person to light the main torch. Okay, so I was in that whole thing. It was huge. So we get to my designated location and they call my name. Malcolm Davey, we're at your location. I'm like, yes, sir. Okay, we're going to get dropped off right here. Now, mind you, I had on my whole Olympic attire, had my Olympic t-shirt, Olympic shorts, just bought some brand new Air Max. I was fresh as hell. I mean, I was ready to run the torch. I had my torch in my hand and I'm like, okay, so I got off the van. So now I'm off the van and I'm looking around. Crowds of people, just hordes of people lining the streets. So I'm looking around like, holy shit, this is crazy. Wow, it's happening. You know what I mean? It's about to go down. I'm about to run the torch. So, I hear the crowd starting to raise up a little bit. Like the crowd is starting to cheer. So I'm like, oh shit. So I look back and the person who's running the torch before me is starting to approach a few blocks away. So I'm like, oh man, all right, okay, whew, get it together, because he's about to come and light my torch. So on the torch, you turn the bottom of the torch and then it actually releases gas from the top. So when he started getting close, I was like, all right, let me get my torch ready. Because they trained us on all of this. Like, this is how you light the torch. This is what you do. So I'm like, cool. So he comes up, everybody's cheering. I turn on the gas, I light the torch. The flames go off on my torch. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm ready. I'm about to start running. Now I have to run through the AU Center, remember, by Clark Atlanta University. So it's about a distance of about 5 or 6 blocks. Nice amount of distance, okay? So I'm holding the torch and I'm about to start running. The first thing I remember was the torch was hot as hell, like the flames. It was a pretty big flame. So I'm holding the torch out here and the flames are like licking down at the top of my scalp. I'm like, damn, that's hot. So I'm holding the torch up here. So I have to hold it out a little bit further. So I start running. I'm running with the torch, and everything is such a blur. People are cheering, clapping, and then I'm looking around, I'm running, I'm smiling, I can't believe it. I'm looking around and I'm like, where is everybody? I don't see anybody. I see people, but I'm looking for my family. So I just kind of push this to the back of my mind. I'm just running. I'm like, I'm out here. I can't believe this. People are cheering. So I'm running down and I'm looking around. It's just people everywhere. It looks like Mardi Gras, like literally on both sides of the streets. If you can imagine, in Atlanta, I mean, it was like super crazy, packed with people. So I'm running down the thing, and so I'm smiling, waving, it's news cameras. One of the most amazing experiences of my life. So I see the other person that has the torch, because with the torch you pass off as you run down the street, basically, once you get to the end of your route. So I get to the end of the route and I see the guy and he's holding his torch, smiling. And so I'm like, whew, running up to him, and I'm about to pass the light from the torch, and then I see my dad. I'm like, whoa, Dad, what's up, man? And then the look on his face was like, what's up, man? What happened? And then I just remember I was just like, so I lit the torch, and as I light the torch, I look down, because the route that this guy who I lit the torch, he's about to run a route now. He's about to run down this hill and then up this hill. And so I'm able to look down and I see my whole family. My whole family is lining the streets on the route that he is about to run. Folks, I ran the wrong route. I ran the 1996 Olympic torch, and they took me out of that van too early. Well, I won't even blame them, because I probably should have been paying attention. But they told me to get out of that van, man. And I ran that route too early. I ran the wrong route of the Olympic torch. So my dad's looking at me. He's like, what's up, man? And I hugged him. And I said, where's everybody? And I can't remember what else happened after that. It was just a blur, like news cameras and clapping and all this other stuff. So the guy, and I look down, so the guy is now running the torch down the hill on the route that I was supposed to run. So I hear the crowd going crazy. But then the crowd starts to kind of quiet down because they're like, oh, Malcolm, yeah. Wait a minute. Who is this guy? And they're like, that's not Malcolm. What the hell's going on? People got signs holding them up. Malcolm, Malcolm, ran the torch. Hell yeah. You know, they didn't have that on the sign, but they were really excited about the fact I'm running the torch. You know, way to go, Malcolm. So everybody's lining the street. So this guy runs down the hill and they think it's me. So they're going crazy. But when they see him, they're like, wait, who is this guy? It was a black guy. He also ran the torch after me. But they're like, wait, as he got closer, they're like, wait, who is this guy? We don't even know who this is. Where's Malcolm? So my mom, oh man, my mom, she was so devastated. She didn't even get a chance to see me run the torch. I mean, people took pictures, and I do have pictures of me running the torch, but she didn't get to see it with her own eyes. I ran the wrong route, folks. One of the most devastating, situations in my life, but at the same time, I guess the most honorable situation too, and it was one of those feelings of it was such conflicting emotions at that time, because I'm like, man, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Everything was such a blur. Everything's moving so fast. They said, Malcolm, Davey, we're at your stop. Hop off the van. I'm like, all right, cool. Hopped off the van. I got my torch. I'm ready. I ran the wrong route. And nobody got to see me run the doggone Olympics. Nobody took video, not that I know of. Maybe I need to research that, see who's got some video. But that was in 1996, man. I was 18 years old. So I guess the moral of that whole story is, man, what got me to be able to run the torch in the first place? That's what I have to go back to. I was selected to run the torch because of the volunteer work, because of the community service work, things that I was doing in the community. That's why I ran the torch. And the motto of this story, basically, for me, is that, sometimes, man, when you do things, you're not going to get a pat on the back for it, okay? Like, that's what's most important. Do things because that's what you really want to do. You want to be able to help people. When I ran that torch, it was a great honor, but it really hurts me that my family didn't get a chance to see me run the torch. But at the same time, I'm still honored to have been able to help those kids and to help those homeless people and to cut their hair and to give them a new image, a new life. Well, not a new life, but a new beginning to life with a fresh haircut. And that's what it's all about. So guys, I want to thank you for watching the channel. Hey man, sometimes you run the wrong route, but you got to keep it moving. This is Malcolm Talks. I appreciate you guys watching.